Are you ready to embark on a journey of exploration and unlock the magic of your wonder? There is so much more in the universe than we have been shown. It is time to ask those questions, dissolve those barriers, and embrace your extraordinary life. Here is your fellow explorer in the realm of curiosity and discovery, with almost 20 years of inviting people to embrace the greatness of them, Donnielle Carter.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the exploration of wonder. My name is Donnielle, the voice in your head today. Right in the middle of my open, I was like, oh, there was a line from the open that I was like, oh, that's right. That's exactly what we're talking about today. All right, so I'm Donnielle. Who am I? I'm a nationally board certified health and wellness coach, intuitive empowerment coach, laughter-inducing change agent, and positivity coach. I offer sessions, classes, workshops, and more on body image, creating clear communication, achieving goals, getting out of that funk, and so much more. All right. So, and one thing I want to express, because I've been doing the show for a little while again, and I always forget this at the very end, and then I'm like, blah, blah, blah. I actually offer a weekly email, a daily email called Body Bit Chat. And it's a free daily email from your body. It's a tidbit of information from your body. I've been doing it for almost 3 years now at this point, and it's so much fun. It is not from me. I literally will sit there and go, okay, bodies, what do you want to say? And then type it out. And so then when I reread it, I'm like, oh, that's really cool. Anyway, so it's a free daily email Monday through Friday. And you can go to donnielle.com, DONNIELLE.com, and it's called Body Bit Chat. And go ahead and sign up today, and then get the one for tomorrow, because it's only beginning of the week, so there's much more. All right. I just want to say that because I always forget about it at the end, and then I read my notes and I'm like, oh yeah, Body Bit Chat. All right, so what are we talking about on today's show? Honestly, one of my favorite topics. And if you've listened to any of my shows so far, you're going to hear me say it's one of my favorite topics, because they are. They just really are. And what is the topic of today? Questions. It is, have you stopped asking questions? Because I don't know about you, and I'm sure this has actually happened to a lot of us. As a kid, I got into so much trouble for asking questions. And it was really interesting, because I went to a seminar like 20 years ago. I've been going to seminars for a long time, giving seminars for a long time. And they asked, hey, are you willing to ask questions? And I'm like, no. Not just no, but no. Insert your preferred swear word here, right? And I didn't. I was like, no, I can't ask questions. I can't ask questions. I'll just get in trouble. How many of us have gotten in trouble for asking questions? You know, we come into this world and we're like, ooh, what is this? What is that? How does this work? What else is here? Right? And then we're told, stop asking questions, or just stop, right? I mean, it's a running joke. Like, you're supposed to answer the kids' questions until they stop saying, but why? But why? But why? But why? But why? And it's that running joke of to shut them down. But look at that energy. We are being trained to shut down kids. We were all once kids. I'm fairly confident in that. So our parents and their parents were trained to shut us down, to stop asking questions, okay? Conspiracy theorists, lots of reasons why they may want us to stop asking questions. We may get to that, we may not. If you have any favorite conspiracy as to why people will stop asking questions, or why they, whoever they are, would want us to stop asking questions, let me know. Drop me a line at hello@donnielle.com. I always love exploring new things, which is why it's called the exploration of wonder. Okay. And so we come into this world naturally curious. Okay. We come in going, what's that? How does that work? If I put this with this, what does it create? but we've been told to stop asking questions. So now pretty much our only question is WTF, right? I don't know if I can swear, so I'm not going to say it, but WTF, like, and it's just a frustration. It's not actually a real question. So in today's show, what we're going to do, just to let you know, we're going to go into the power of the question, but really why we ask questions. Why do we ask questions? What occurs when we ask questions? And then something you're going to hear me say a lot is when we ask true questions, true questions, true questions. So then we're going to go into, after why ask questions, we're going to go into what are true questions? Like, if it has a question mark at the end, isn't it a question? No, not always. Okay, so we're going to help, because remember, all of my shows, everything I do, sessions, classes, are all about you being congruent with the energy, no matter what form it's taking, whether it's your body, the universe, yourself, so that you can actually create the life that you desire. Okay, and be happy and have ease and joy and money, relationships, whatever it is that you're desiring. Okay, I know I'm crazy that way. So we're going to go also into true questions, and then how to ask true questions, real questions. That's going to be the last part. Okay, that's the plan. Here we go. I always have a plan, and then the energy takes me in places, so we'll see. So why ask questions? Which is funny because it's a question. I get that. Okay. But why ask questions? And for me, which is why when I was listening to the open of the song, I was like, oh yeah, da 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 da. Or opening of the show. In the open of the show, it says, unlock the magic of your wonder. And even though I wrote it, I'm like, yeah. But for me, that is the true, absolute spirit of the show, of the exploration of wonder, is questions. Okay? Because when you ask a question, you open doors. You go, ooh, what is that? You create pathways. Okay? You create pathways to being things having revealed, to discoveries. Because I said in the description of the show, and I'll say here again, no great or sad discoveries, doesn't have to be a great discovery, any discovery, or things have never been revealed from conclusions. Have you ever noticed that? I mean, think about that for a minute. You know, if why can I never think of the guy's name who did the gravity with the apple? My brain. Anyways, if the dude who sat under the apple tree had saw the apple drop, and I know this is a story, you guys. I know didn't really happen this way, but work with me, okay? It's a story we all know. So if he had seen the apple fall, and then he just went, well, apples fall. See the energy, right? Look at the energy as I'm going through these few examples. So when look at the energy when he goes, well, the apple fell, because that's what apples do. They fall off the tree. You can almost hear the flat line of the energy, right? Everything stops. Newton, thank you. Thank you, Christine, who is the voice in my head. But when he does the energy, apples just fall. That's what they do. The energy stops. It doesn't flow. It doesn't go anywhere. But when he asked a question, when he went, why did this apple fall? Is there a force that exerts it? Why did the apple fall? Why did it not go up? Why did it not go sideways? All of those questions, look at the energy of that. It opens up the doors to the universe. It creates those pathways of exploration. And for me, it really signals, the way I like to say it is, it signals the universe that you are willing to explore, willing to have the information, willing to receive. Okay? And for me, that's a very interesting part of this, is because if we're willing to receive the information about the questions that we're asking for, what else can we receive from the universe? Because how many of us feel we're lacking in something? Come on, raise your hand. I know you do it too. We all feel we are lacking something. So, if we're willing to receive information from the universe, might we also be able to receive what we think we're lacking? And as we get more into this, what if you're not even lacking that? Okay. So, one other example, and for me, and again, follow the energy. For me, it was a funny example of the name of the show. Okay. Because what a lot of us do with questions is we put into the question, the quote unquote question, what our desired outcome is, or what we think is missing, or we think is lacking, or what we think it should be. Okay. And so my original name for the show was, Where Have You Stopped Asking Questions? That's me assuming that you have. Okay. That's me going, well, you've stopped asking questions. You need to know how. Okay. So look at the energy. If I had titled the show, Where Have You Stopped Asking Questions? I'm inviting you to automatically go into judgment of yourself. Where am I stopped asking questions? Where am I bad with this? Well, it's in the show title, so it must be true. Excuse me. But instead, because I looked at the energy, right? I'm always looking at the energy. And my notes, you'll love it because I'll have to explain this to my future self, because past Donnielle put in as the actual title, the Word doc, where have you stopped asking questions, or what have you stopped asking questions about? And then in the middle of the notes, I'm like, that question, the energy doesn't actually match the energy of the show, which is why the show is called Have You Stopped Asking Questions? Because with that, I'm opening the door for your information, for your awareness. Instead of going, you've stopped asking questions, let me tell you how you're supposed to. Let me tell you how you should, or where you should, because obviously you have. That's where have you stopped asking questions. But when I ask, have you stopped asking questions? What do? Energetically, you can feel the expansion, the energy go, right? Open the door to the universe going, I'm willing to receive the information. And so when you have that, have I stopped asking questions? You self-reflect, you look into it and you're like, have I? Okay, yeah, I think I have. Or no, or just whatever it is. But you see the difference in just those questions, just the little shape of it. And we're going to get into that a lot, because my first show title, What Have You Stopped Asking Questions About? Or Where Have You Stopped Asking Questions? There's a lot of judgment in that one. There is a lot of those where it's like, ha 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 ha, you're wrong. If you guys have known me at all by now, I don't actually think you're wrong. I think you're amazing. But I do want to invite you to that, have you stopped asking questions? And it's really interesting because where I got the original inspiration for this kind of topic is I watch a lot of weird stuff. Okay. If you've listened to my past shows, I watch things on quantum physics, conspiracy theories, movies. I love movies and books. I do a lot of top 10 lists. Like last one was top 10 movie endings you can't see anymore. Random crap, right? Anyway. But I watched this YouTube. It's one of my favorite YouTube channels. And it's called The Why Files. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. He's brilliant. I love it. It's called WHY, The Why Files. And he did this show a couple of years ago on, Is the Moon Hollow? Excuse me. And so he's like, his title, Is the Moon Hollow? I'm like, oh, is the moon hollow? That would be interesting. And before I get into, I'm not going to get into is the moon hollow. It's not the point. But as he started explaining this, he's like, well, the most popular theory for the moon being made is the impact theory. And I went, excuse me? What do you mean the most popular theory? It wasn't an interactive show. I'm talking in my head, right? And I went, holy crap. we don't actually know how the moon was made. Think about that. How many of you out there right now was like, well, no, I know how the moon's made. We don't. Science has not given a definitive, this is how the moon was made. That's why you'll start hearing this a lot. Well, the leading theory says, the leading doctors or the statisticians theorize, blah, 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 because we don't actually know how the moon was made. Blew my world apart because I was like, I would have told you impact theory, where it's like an asteroid hits the Earth, breaks off a top layer, and then gets caught in our gravitational pull and forms the moon. And then we catch the moon in our gravitational force of the Earth. That's the leading theory. And so when I was looking at that, I went, holy crap-tastic. Where else have I stopped asking questions? Because we're going to go to a break here, but look at this during the break. How many things have you decided is a foregone conclusion, that's just the way it is, and you've stopped asking questions about it? Because what's interesting is I'm discovering a lot of those things we think are foregone conclusions aren't. A lot of those things where we go, oh yeah, that's how it is. Nah, that's just the leading theory, or that's what the loudest voice is telling you. But there's still questions to be asked about it. Okay, so I want you to look at that a little bit of like, what have you decided is we know definitively across the board that if we ask questions about, we would actually know more about. Okay, all right, we're going to take our first break here. You are watching The Exploration of Wonder with me, your host, Donnielle, on the Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be right back.
Ever feel like there's more to life than meets the eye? A sense of wonder just beyond your grasp? Are you ready to create a life that inspires you so much that each day you are excited to wake up and live it? Join Donnielle Carter, a nationally board-certified health and wellness coach, weekly as she explores the universe on the exploration of wonder. Explore everything from harnessing the power of your mindset to connecting with your intuition and harnessing the energetic forces around us. With a blend of humor, warmth, directness, and a dash of cheekiness, Donnielle shares easy-to-use, pragmatic, yet magical techniques you can implement immediately to infuse your life with wonder. Join us as we navigate the fascinating landscapes of the seen and unseen, and together create lives filled with joy, purpose, and boundless possibility.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is The Exploration of Wonder with your guide, Donnielle. To participate in this program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also send an email to hello@donnielle.com. Now back to the exploration.
Welcome back, everybody, to The Exploration of Wonder. I am your host, Donnielle, and every time I say the name of the show, I get even more excited. Because for me, it truly is about the exploration, and questions lead the charge with that. And that's what we're talking about today, is asking questions and what the power of a question, or why are we asking questions? Why should we ask questions? What do questions actually do for us? Okay. And, and I was talking before the break about how I blew my world apart by learning that we don't actually know how the moon was made. And I had decided we knew. And so I had stopped asking questions. I'm like, yeah, we know how the moon's made. Check mark, next, done. So that's on a larger scale. But on the large scale of our life, have we stopped asking questions in other areas as well? How many people do you know that say things like, well, it's just the way it is? Or, it doesn't get better than this. It doesn't get better than this. There's so many different places that we've been told and trained and had evidence of where we think we don't and can't create a bigger life. And for me, you guys, that's one of the fun keys to this whole asking questions is, I'll say it again, when you ask questions, you're signaling to the universe, because the universe is listening, and remember, it's listening energetically. When you ask questions, you're signaling to the universe that you're willing to have the information, that you're open to receive the information you're asking about and willing to receive more. The universe expands, the energy expands, you expand, and the more expanded you are, the bigger your life can be. Okay, let me say that again. The more expanded you are, the bigger your life can be. This is truly the power of a question. And when I was a kid, I got in a lot of trouble for asking questions. Usually they were of a religious nature. I was raised in a religion like a lot of people. It wasn't a cult, it wasn't a commune. Well, I don't know what your definition of a cult is, but it's a very popular religion. And one of my parents my father was very, very, very into the religion. It had saved his life. For him, it was the answer. And what's interesting about that is for him, it was. For me, it wasn't. And it's not making that it was, because of course, if it's not the answer for me, then it must not be the answer for him. Well, no, for him, it is the answer. It gave him an outline of how to live his life. It really saved him as a kid. It gave him the stability that he wasn't getting as a kid. And so I, being the curious creature that I am still, and I really was as a kid, I would ask him questions about the religion, him or anybody else who would sit in front of me and listen long enough. And so I would ask questions because it's like in the religion, we were told that if you live your life well, you eventually get to be a god of your own world. So me taking the next step, I went, well, if we get to be gods, then who was God's God? And who was God's God? Who was God's God? Where did this all really start from? He didn't like that question. He's just like, you know what? You shouldn't ask questions like that. Shut down. And again, he was trained that way, right? I'm not trying to be mean about my dad. He was trained that way. But what was interesting is why one of the leading reasons that we're told not to ask questions is because we scare the piss out of other people, okay? We are destabilizing the foundation of a lot of what they've created their lives about. Okay, so with that example with my dad, he had built his life, his foundation of how to live, how to be, was rooted in this religion. And if he lived right, he did this, he got to be a god of his own world, and that was it. So when I did the exploration of like, well, what else and what else, it basically went to that little boy. And it said, well, here's another question. And it terrified him. It made him nervous. So look back to those times that you were shut down for asking questions. And you'll find what's interesting is, and a question you can ask is, when you were shut down, did that have anything to do with you? Because I'll tell you right now, my friends, just because it's something at you doesn't mean it actually has anything to do with you. You know, my dad said, you shouldn't ask questions like that. And I internalized it. I was a kid. I was in a teen year somewhere. And I was like, oh, I'm wrong for asking questions. I shouldn't ask questions. But now as an adult, or of age, let's be honest, I don't act like an adult very often. Now when I look back upon that exchange, I realize his reaction wasn't about me. His reaction was about him going, oh crap, no. Please don't shatter the rock that I've built my life on. Please don't make me think about something that I'm not ready to. Because just because you are ready to ask a question, sometimes other people aren't ready to ask that question themselves. So how often has that been the reason we were shut down? So when you have these things occur and you look back upon it, it's like, wow, did that question I asked them actually have anything to do with me in, circumstances like that? Because I look back upon that exchange with my dad now, it had nothing to do with me. Nothing. It was all about him. And not in that selfish, it was all about him way. But I scared the piss out of him. I really did. I was rocking and shattering the foundation on which he had built his life. Okay? That all being said, that is one of the things about asking questions. Why should we ask questions? This is one of those reasons. Because what we're doing is we are shattering the solidity around us. We are shattering the foundation of this is the way it is. And I'll say again, look at all these great discoveries in history. All these things that have been revealed. Nobody said it. Nobody discovered these things because they went, well, that's just the way it is. Yeah, that's how that behaves. Oh yeah, those two chemicals, you don't put them together. Why? Because you just don't. Well, why not? Because you don't. Right? No. Things being revealed, explored, and discovered are people going, if I put these two chemicals together, what do you get? I get chocolate. Okay? I mean, coffee. One of my main favorite food groups. Coffee. And if you think about it, the discovery of coffee is really weird. It stemmed from going through animals at first, and then they noticed the heightened effect it had. So questions are also just the energy you be of like, ooh, what else? Right? Because they notice these jittered animals and they're going, what are they eating that makes them all jittery? Oh, it's this bean. Isn't it interesting? And then if you think of tea, I'm on hot beverages apparently. If you think of tea, somebody calls it just hot plant water. I'm like, actually, that's kind of true, right? But think of all these great inventions, all these creations. Somebody had to ask a question and go, look at all these leaves and these things. If I put it in water, and not cold water, but hot water, it changes the water and it smells good. I wonder if it tastes good. It's like, it drives learning. So why ask questions? It drives learning. It sparks creativity. And it really is that place where we are shaking the foundation. Yes, but shaking the foundation doesn't have to be a scary thing. Because how many of you love the way the world is? No one? No one's raising their hand, right? We're all in this business. We're all, in the exploration of, it's going to be better than this. It has to be. So we, by very nature, are that question, and that's what I'm saying. We're shaking this foundation of this reality by questions. I put out a meme 1,000 years ago on social media. It's like, are you willing to be the question that changes everything? What question can you ask to change your reality? Okay. So what else? Why ask questions? It also fosters connection, right? Because, I'm talking about world-changing things, but also on a day-to-day scale. It fosters connections, right? I have always loved asking questions. And my mom had this one friend who was a nudist. And I sat there and asked her a bunch of questions one day. And she went to my mom. She's like, I think Donnielle wants to be a nudist. My mom's like, why? Because she asked you a lot of questions? She's like, yeah. She's like, no, that's just her. That's just her. I'm like, oh, nudist. What about this? And what about this? And how do you sit down? And she's just like, I started asking her questions. But it fostered that connection. She's always loved me since then, right? And so another thing it does is it also empowers, okay? For me, this is one of the cores, one of the keys, is it takes you from passive pleading, please just change, please, to what can I do to change this? Okay, it goes from passive pleading, desperation, to taking action. Asking a question takes you from passive to action. All right, all the time. It also, I talked about that, opens up pathways to discover and receive more. And one of my favorite parts is questions about yourself. Okay, when you do those intuitive questions like, what are my patterns here? Why am I behaving this way? It goes from, um, it helps you to see where you're functioning from so you can actually change it. Instead of just running around in a padded room, hopefully it's a padded room, and not just a wall that you're banging your head against. But it helps you to see where you're functioning so you can actually change, see what's working and what else you would like to change. But the key there is not judging it. Okay, and I'll do a whole show on that because it's a big topic. But basically it is that it's like when you ask a question, it's like, oh, where did this come from? Why am I behaving this way? What is my pattern here? And when you receive the information without judgment, you can change anything. Okay. All right. So we're going to go on our next break. And we are exploring questions today on the exploration of wonder. I am your host, Donnielle, and we're on the Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be right back.
Ever feel like there's more to life than meets the eye? A sense of wonder just beyond your grasp? Are you ready to create a life that inspires you so much that each day you are excited to wake up and live it? Join Donnielle Carter, a nationally board-certified health and wellness coach, weekly as she explores the universe on the exploration of wonder. Explore everything from harnessing the power of your mindset to connecting with your intuition and harnessing the energetic forces around us. With a blend of humor, warmth, directness, and a dash of cheekiness, Donnielle shares easy-to-use, pragmatic, yet magical techniques you can implement immediately to infuse your life with wonder. Join us as we navigate the fascinating landscapes of the seen and unseen, and together create lives filled with joy, purpose, and boundless possibility.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Exploration of Wonder with your guide, Donnielle. To participate in this program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also send an email to hello@donnielle.com. Now back to the exploration.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Exploration of Wonder. I am your host, Donnielle. So glad to have you here today, in the past, or in the future. I am always honored when people take time to play with me. You know, I've had a lot of people reaching out and going, I listened to your show, I listened to your podcast, it was awesome, or I learned this, or whatever. And I'm just so always honored because I'm like, you listened to my podcast? Thanks, that was awesome. Hope it contributed. So thank you for taking the time to explore with me, and really, it's all about you. I love being able to contribute to you in any way. And if it's time for us to have a private chit chat, as I like to call some of my private sessions, if there's anything I can contribute to you, please do check out my website and the sessions page, so donnielle.com. And I have so many different types of sessions. I have turning the molecule sessions. I also have an ongoing program with that. Please do check it out. It's pretty magical. But then I also have like getting that task done, goal-oriented sessions, and then just like, hey, let's get together and chat. So do check that out at donnielle.com if now is the time for a private chit chat between you and I. All right. So today we're talking about questions and the power of it, and why ask questions, and how to ask a true question. And so one of the other things that questions can do, because this is not an all-inclusive list because there's always more to be discovered, and one that just happened was help clearing up confusion. Okay, because how many times have we been like, I don't get this, because you're looking at it from one point of view, they're looking at it from another point of view. And if one of you doesn't ask the questions, you don't meet in the middle. Okay, and this just happened. I'm so gonna embarrass my producer. But like, one of the things that they do during the show, if you ever want to be in the live chat with us, is they'll pull quotes out during the show. And they'll put it in the chat for everybody to see and that kind of fun stuff. And so the producer private messaged me and she's like, hey, you might need to edit that one. And I'm like, what happened? And she's like, well, I'm not sure I got it right. And I'm like, what? Because I was thinking audio and video. And then what did I do? Clear up the confusion. I asked a question. I'm like, what is she actually talking about? I'm like, oh, the quote. So that's one of the powers of the questions, is you get clarification in so many different ways. Okay. So yeah, because I had so many different, I went to audio and video, a bunch of other things, right? Because I have a few skills. And so why ask questions? Because it helps give clarification. Okay. And it also helps problem solve. And I'm not saying please be a problem solver, because then you always have a problem to solve, but it helps you problem solve. And because if you look at like a zombie movie, or, people being attacked, it doesn't have to be a zombie movie. I just like them. There's always that one character that freaks out, freezes, does nothing, and then gets eaten or attacked or dead, right? There's always that one character. To me, that's the character that doesn't ask a question, okay? The character that asks the question is the one who survives, even if the question is, what weapon can I use? Where's my escape hatch? How do I get out of this? Those are all questions going, all right, give me information, give me information, give me information. Because that's really what questions are about, is, okay, I'm going to ask this question and get the information, okay? Which leads me to one of my favorite things that asking questions truly shows. It shows the universe and you that you haven't given up, okay? A true question is massive action. Someone who has truly given up won't ask questions. They're the people in the zombie movie who are like, ah! And then we wait to get eat and bitten, or just stand there. They're the ones that freeze. So when you are willing to ask a question, even if it's what the hell is going on here, it shows you and the universe that you haven't given up. And trust me, the universe loves people who haven't given up. The universe loves people who have, but the universe is really excited when it's like you show the universe that you haven't given up, and you show you. Because sometimes the biggest person you need to tell that you haven't given up is yourself. Okay? And so when you ask a question, it is proof positive that you have not given up. Okay? That you're like, all right, there's got to be a way out of this. Let me keep going. Let me put one foot in front of the other. One more day, one more step, one more action, one more Hail Mary, whatever it is. Okay? So it shows you in the universe that you haven't given up. And for me, that's one of the most beautiful things about the power of a question. And for me, it's kind of gleeful to be able to do a podcast about the power of questions, that I got in so much trouble for asking questions. So for me, it's really fun to help people really re-embrace this place where you ask questions because you can, because it's our natural state. Because if you don't ask questions, you sit there and mold. It's like a stagnant pond. What happens to a stagnant pond? Something that has no, you guys have seen or movies or been in front of, it's like, you've seen that like pond that has no motion or current or flow to it. It gets gross. It gets like really, really gross. Okay. It's kind of like you when you're not asking questions. You just kind of get gross. So I went Southern. I don't know why I went Southern on that. But yeah, so shake off the mold, shake off the dirt, shake off the stagnation, and ask a question. Ask a question. It is truly, truly one of the greatest gifts we have in this universe and in the first step of exploration. Okay. So what are true questions? Glad you asked. True questions are open-ended, exploratory, curious, and inquisitive, not statements with question marks on the end. Because, I said at the beginning, what if it has a question mark at the end, doesn't mean it's a question? Not really. Grammatically, it might be, but energetically and judgmentally and point of view wise, not really. And I refer again to the name of the show. When I was saying, what have you stopped asking questions about? That's a judgment that you have something to stop asking questions about, that you've already done it. So I'm asking you to judge yourself. Yay, me. That's why I changed the title. I'm asking you to judge yourself about where you stopped asking questions. And then where have you stopped asking questions? Same thing. So those are both technically questions with a question mark at the end, grammatically correct, but not energetically. Okay. I do have that English minor. I was going to go with a double major with English, but I just want to graduate. So I counted it up, did a minor of English. So grammatically, it is a question, but energetically, it's not. Okay. So you really want to look at these things and make sure it's not a statement with a question mark attached. Okay, and there's so many different ways we do this. It's like, how do I make more money from my 9 to 5? That's thinking that only your 9 to 5 gives you money. Where else can I receive money from? It doesn't exclude your job, but it also includes anything else. Okay, those are the times when you receive a stock tip, or those times when somebody's like, hey, I need somebody to host this game show. Do you want to do it? And sure, where else can I receive money, right? And so when you ask a question with a statement in it, what you're in essence doing energetically, even though it's a question mark, energetically, you're contracting your universe. You're contracting possibilities. You are contracting what the universe can deliver to you, and then you miss things. Okay? What I mean by miss things is if you're thinking you can only get money from your 9 to 5 job, you will literally not hear that person talking about the stock tip. The person who has that opportunity to host a game show won't receive that information to talk to you about it because you're not inviting that energy. They won't receive the information to go, hey, Donnielle, you wanna host a game show? Sure. No, they won't receive the energy because you're not putting that energy out there. Okay. So you're contracting. You're contracting the possibilities. You contract what you can receive. You contract things and you'll miss it. Your universe goes from universe to about the size of my microphone. For those of you listening and not seeing my arms flail around, it's only about the size of the microphone. You're contracting your universe. But when you have an open-ended question like, what else can I receive money from? Your universe expands. And as your universe expands, you're putting out there, which is one of the fun things about energy of questions, is you're putting out there going, hey, I am willing to receive from anything. Yes, I will be happy to host a game show. Yes, I'll be happy to just have you give me $50,000. Thank you. Have a good day. Yes, I am willing to receive all of this. Yes, 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 yes. Questions takes your world from no to yes. Okay. Questions take your world from not possible to possible. All right. So I hope you're getting this. I hope you're seeing where it's like questions with a statement and a point of view are grammatically questions, but energetically conclusions. And when you conclude, you contract, you limit, and you miss all the amazing things that the universe has to offer you. Okay. So ask the questions, let the universe deliver to you, and explore the amazing universe around us. Okay? We're going to go to our last break. And when we come back, I'm going to give you a few quick tips about like, okay, so how do you know what you're asking is a real question or not, or a true question? Because it's like, okay, I think I get it. We want true questions and not conclusion questions. How do I know if it's a conclusion question, or how do I know if it's a true question? I'll tell you when we come back, because I'm a big tease. I know. All right, but you are watching The Exploration of Wonder with me, your host, Donnielle, and we're on the Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be right back.
Ever feel like there's more to life than meets the eye? A sense of wonder just beyond your grasp? Are you ready to create a life that inspires you so much that each day you are excited to wake up and live it? Join Donnielle Carter, a nationally board-certified health and wellness coach, weekly as she explores the universe on the exploration of wonder. Explore everything from harnessing the power of your mindset to connecting with your intuition and harnessing the energetic forces around us. With a blend of humor, warmth, directness, and a dash of cheekiness, Donnielle shares easy-to-use, pragmatic, yet magical techniques you can implement immediately to infuse your life with wonder. Join us as we navigate the fascinating landscapes of the seen and unseen, and together create lives filled with joy, purpose, and boundless possibility. This is The Exploration of Wonder with your guide, Donnielle. To participate in this program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also send an email to hello@donnielle.com. Now back to the exploration.
Welcome back, everybody, to The Exploration of Wonder. I am in the face on your screen, or the voice in your head, Donnielle. I am your host and fellow explorer. And I do mean that. One of my favorite things now is to ask questions and go, what else, what else, what else, what else, what else? All right, so I told you before the break that I would tell you, it's like, okay, you're getting the energy, I'm getting it, Donnielle, that you want to ask true questions and not conclusion questions. How do you know? How do you get your head out of it and your energy into it? 3 quick tips is, number 1 is, what is the energy doing? You know, we should turn me into a drinking game. Every time in a show, any show, I say the word energy, take a shot. We're going to be drunk really quick. And I don't even drink. But for me, it's always about the energy. And if you think you don't know energy, you do, okay? This is one thing that I really had to wrap my head around when I first started exploring this universe, is that we are energetic beings and that we know energy. Because have you ever said in your life, oh, I knew that? You did. That's the energetic awareness. The more you practice it, the more you strengthen that muscle, the more it actually shows up before you shouldn't have done it, rather than after. So instead of going, I knew I shouldn't have done that, you're like, I know I should not do that, and I'm not going to do that. Okay, so what is the energy doing? And your body will help you with this. Okay, your body will help you with this because something that is creative, generative for you will make your body feel light. It'll expand your universe. Something that is not good for you or should not do, your body will feel nauseous or tight or tingly or bad tingles. But your universe will contract, basically. All right. So what is the energy doing? And for an example of this, listen to earlier in the show when I was giving first segment, when I was giving examples of, like I said, watch the energy. I asked this question, what did the energy do? Or this question, and what did the energy do? Or, you know, I did specifically around the Isaac Newton thing. So if you're curious, listen to that part, watch that part again, because I drew your attention to the energy. Because a true question, the energy should expand out, whoosh, kind of explode, boom, into the universe, right? A statement question or a conclusion question feels tight. It feels like less is possible. And you're like, well, I hope so. If a question doesn't create a energetic well of hope, of possibility, ask a different question, okay? Because a true question gives you hope and possibility. Sometimes you're like, please, 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 please. but you have that little tingling, that welling inside of like, yes, 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 yes. Okay. So a question, a true question should expand your universe. Okay. So look at what the energy does. 2, do I have a point of view about the outcome? Okay. And this one, you guys, this one is a little bit tricky. I get it. Okay. Because we're all like, if we just went around asking just nothing but open-ended questions, would anything get created? No, not exactly. So you want it specific enough to give the universe some information, but not too general that you don't receive any information. Okay. And one of my best examples for this is about money. Okay. So if you just say, I would like a lot of money, you have to look at what is your point of view about money. How much is a lot of money? It could be $100 for one person. It could be $1 million for another person. And how much do you actually require a month for your bills? Because if you say, and the universe doesn't, like, they don't spend money. And so if you say to the universe, I require money for my monthly bills, and it's like, well, here's $100, and you're like, my monthly is $10,000. What the hell? So you want to say things like, okay, so what would it take to create at least 10,000 a month? And when you say things like at least, you're leaving open the door for the universe to give you more. Okay, I hope that makes sense. But it's like if you're just saying, I would like more money. What's your point of view about it? Do you have an outcome, point of view about what the outcome should be? What is the energy underneath all of that? Okay. And then number 3, do you actually want what you're asking for? I see a lot of people get tripped up with this one. They'll be like, oh, well, what would it take to have this relationship? What would it take to lose weight? What would it take to have a better relationship with my family, or whatever it is? And they don't actually want it. And so the universe is listening energetically. So I know a lot of people go, well, the questions don't work, and because blah, 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 blah. And then I'm like, well, did you actually want what you're asking for? And you're like, it was like, no, well, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. That's why the questions didn't work. Because we're also very good at shifting the energy energetically, saying one thing verbally, but saying another thing energetically. So how to ask a real question? Actually desire what you're curious about, what you are wondering about. Okay. So what is the energy doing? Do you have a point of view? What's it underneath? And do you actually want what you're asking for? All right. So a lot of information. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it got you asking some questions, especially the part where, like, for me, I was stunned when I found out that we don't actually know how the moon was formed. I'm like, that was a check mark in my world that we knew that, so I wasn't asking questions about it. Okay, so what else do you have as a check mark in your world that you stopped asking questions about? Whether it be how your life is formed, how the universe is formed, how your money comes in, how your relationships are, how your body changes. What do you have a check mark against that is like, I know that check mark, that if you would be willing to start asking questions about it again, will open up a whole universe to different possibilities. All right. And that is why we ask questions. And that is truly the true power of questions. All right. So thank you for joining me in the future, the past, or the present. I'm so excited. And if you want to join me for private session, classes, I have Body Bit Chat, that free daily email from a piece of information from your body. You find all of that on my website, donnielle.com, 2 N's, 2 L's, DONNIELLE. And I am so grateful that you joined me here. This is just the beginning, my friends. What question can you ask today to explore this amazing, to have that revelation, to discover your wonder? And what question can you ask to change your life? What question can you ask to change somebody else's life as well? Because when you discover it, it becomes available for all of us. All right, my friends, ask those questions and have a great week. Thanks, everyone. See you soon.
Thank you for exploring with us today. Donnielle returns Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Mountain, 1 p.m. Pacific. Until then, be curious, be wonder, and explore the magical universe around you.